So here we are, Pittsburgh week. We had some great meetings today. We had a day off yesterday, so we had great meetings this morning. Talked about the game, talked about the fundamental improvement that we're looking for across the board, and like also just making sure the guys are excited about what we're doing and what we're building with all the opportunities we've had since the Cleveland joint practice and the preparation that went into that, and then the games. And then just a great week last week, a couple practices, go on the road, spend time together, a hotter joint practice, which was fantastic work. We needed that to go into the game and to really just be able to learn from some stuff. And again, I kind of said this, right after the game, like there were some almosts. Well, that almost is not going to be good enough in the NFL. And so I was able to just speak truthfully and just to coach them hard, which they want. They want to be upheld to that standard. And so it was a great day, and then we had to shift gears, get ready for this practice today. We were in a little bit of a modified mode. Just, we had probably, I want to say we had 10 or 12 guys that were, close to 50 reps on the day between special teams and the offense defense reps. So we kind of just backed off a little bit today, had a good individual period, but just getting our legs back. We'll get after it again tomorrow. I just know how important these opportunities are for guys who are trying to make this team, not just the games, but our practices. Practice is everything to us. And so to have a high-intensity practice tomorrow to evaluate our guys one more time before we go into that last game is really critical.
Dave, can we get some injury updates? Yeah. JC was practicing. Did he get his stitches out?
He did. Yep.
Claude and Charles, Chandler Zavala participated. Are they good to go for Thursday?
Yes, they should be. Yeah. Now, today wasn't a super high intensity practice, so we'll push them tomorrow, and then we'll have more information tomorrow evening after we kind of get through all that to see where they're at. But if they come out and they check the boxes, then those are guys that'll play.
And then, boom.
AI questions right there. So that's the future, guys. You just, what should I ask Coach? Bang.
Updates on Bobby Brown wasn't out there, and DJ Johnson, and then what's the latest on Nick Gordon?
Yeah, Bobby's got a sore knee. DJ's got a sore hip. Both guys are being treated and just weren't going to be able to turn it around and get individual, which was kind of the point of the practice, to get a high-speed individual. So we shut them down in hopes to get them back for practice tomorrow. And then who else was?
What's the latest on?
Yeah, so Nick, huge improvement. Got to drive across country from, well, not the way across country, but from Houston back here. But significant improvement. He was actually running today. They were monitoring really closely, checking his oxygen levels. Everything is like huge improvements. That guy's 20 years old, so he bounced back pretty quick. He will not play this week, but the hope is to just continue to just progress him daily and get him more and more work.
T-Mac did not participate?
Yeah, T-Mac had a really sore hamstring. Imaging looked fine, but he's just kind of all stoved up. He's been taking a lot of reps, a few series more than the rest of the starters, just to get him the game reps. And just between that, the practices, he's been working like crazy. We just thought we'd, shut him down for a couple of days and turn him back around. He may not play on Thursday.
Coach, can you give an update on LeBron Ray, his health status? And
yeah.
Can you speak to the defensive line's depth?
Yeah, so LB is going to be week to week. He's not responded as quickly as we'd hoped with that ankle, and so we'll push him again tomorrow, kind of see if we can get him back to play on Thursday. But a little bit slower than we anticipated, which these things can kind of happen with the ankle. All that soreness and discomfort and the strength and stability is the most important part. So we didn't feel like he turned around as quick as we thought. Who else were you asking about?
I was just wondering about the defensive line depth.
Yeah, definitely right now for this stage of camp, like concerning, but we had a couple of studs that carried us through with Jaden Crumity, Sam Roberts, Jared Harrison Hunt, and Shai even was available at the end. They played a lot of snaps for us the last game to get us through it. So love that about the guys. And they love the work, they all want the work. They improved in games with young guys, especially. You can see the improvement from drive to drive with techniques and all that. So these are guys that are going to have to carry us again this week.
Dave, if the pass protection had been a little better in that second series, might Bryce have played a third series?
It had nothing to do with that. I just felt so good about the work we got in the joint practice, the volume of work that we got for that group. I was really hoping we could have continued that second drive and try to, achieve the goal of getting them more plays. But I just felt really good about the work that we had, and then I thought the protection was really solid. It was a double move Andy got hit on. So it's a pump, reset. Daniil Hunter had a great rush on Yash on that one, got his hand up, and Andy tried to get it off as quickly as possible, had T-Mac available, on the play. But I think they kind of settled in and blocked really well the rest of that drive if you look at it. So I was really pleased with that group. And then the third group, of course, Brady and Yash were still in there in that until Mike Tarkin came in. But I thought they did a great job with the pass pro.
The additional imaging, would Andy be able to play if this was like a regular?
Yeah, so it was really more of a muscle type of thing, and it was a mild deal. I think I said elbow sprain, but it was more of a muscle strain. But the imaging looked pretty solid, and we just kind of are taking him day to day for the soreness to kind of resolve itself. So he started the practice through a little bit, then we shut him down for the rest of it.
You said you were really happy about what went down in the Browns during practice, Texans during practice, and all that stuff, and that the starters are not going to play. And then you brought up the fundamentals. How do you think you can hone those fundamentals behind the scenes? Maybe a casual fan wouldn't understand.
Practice is everything. That's what we preach to the guys. We practice full speed, all but tackling. And when we're in our thud tempo, like I want them hitting so that you show me you made the tackle. So we're getting the physical work. Iron sharpens iron. We got good players on both sides, and that's a great place to challenge it. The move the ball periods that we do in practice is another way. I'm asking our officials to like really, really officiate it hard. With is the tackle too far back? Are two guys moving? Like let's make sure I need a flag on the ground. George Lee keeps track of all that stuff, so I can talk to the guys and address it. I don't think this is anything that's different than what a lot of teams are experiencing right now, but it's not our standard. So coach it hard, and it just gives me an opportunity to really, be nitpicky about the things that I know are going to be critical when we go into regular season play and all that.
You mentioned the other day that Derek was basically begging you to play and to play more. He's always been a high volume snaps guy. With as deep as you are at that position now, is the goal to have him up on the field a little less this year?
I think it's going to be just kind of playing it by ear, He's a great player, so we'd love to have him out there the whole time. We'll see how he responds as we continue to push his volume. And then we'll have to kind of just make that decision like week to week in terms of how much he plays and how we're rotating that group. But it is a deep group, and we love all those guys. There's veteran guys, there's young guys that can help as well. So we'll kind of see as we go.
Early assessment on Bryce Perkins.
Oh, yeah, accurate. He came in today. Really excited to get him in here, the UFL MVP. He's earned this opportunity, and just going into the Steelers game, if Andy can't turn it around and get the soreness out and we don't have to play him, then Jack and Bryce can play that game for us. And so it's all hands on deck. Mike Berkovici's he's about a foot away from Bryce, the whole day today as he came in. And so it's great to just be able to reward somebody who's gone to another league, played so well, but also spent 3 years with the Rams. So there is some carryover. Some of the words are familiar to him, but it's kind of a marriage of a couple of two different systems. But football's football, and he's played a lot of it. He's played significant snaps, and so I'm excited for him to be here.
Preference be to not play Andy?
Probably, yeah. But again, if he turns it around and he's like, shoot, I want to go out there for a couple series, then that's something we can talk about. But I'd love to give Jack another opportunity, to take those snaps and then see what Bryce can do.
Was part of the logic of Perkins that he had played in the spring league and was in football shape, having not been in a camp? Like you could have signed other guys that were not in camp before.
Yeah, and I think it's just relationships and people that Dan talk to, and we had a conversation on the plane, like here's the guys who are available, and knowing that he has some experience, in our run game, in our pass game, parts of it, it's just a really cool fit right now.
Hey, I know you like what you saw in the joint practices, but one reason you wanted to play the starters in the preseason games was to kind of get a better feel going into the game.
Yeah.
So what did you really glean from the experience of having them in at least from the starters?
Yeah, honestly, it starts the night before, and it's about going through your call sheet one more time. It's about making sure you have all your reads right and make sure you have all your adjustments right. Waking up, what time do you get up for a noon kick, and start to prepare yourself. What do you eat for breakfast? All the little things when you come into the locker room. How do you get yourself prepared? Do you work with the trainers? You get a little extra soft tissue work, you know? Just having all those checkpoints, I think when you have a group, like this week, the starters won't play, and I'll be watching to kind of see, like, you'll see the routines change. Taking advantage of 2 opportunities for guys to go through their routines and be ready for it is valuable. Is I wouldn't say more valuable than getting out there on the field, but it is very valuable for your mental preparation.
So what did you glean specifically from Bryce, that you feel like he's better prepared to start this season than maybe last year?
In general, he's just done a great job leading the team, pushing the schemes forward. And, you know, if we get a couple of third down conversions, we extend the drives, we can get more into the calls. I would have loved to have another red zone shot, you know, to kind of just polish off some of those things. But I feel confident. I feel very confident about how we've loaded our guys, the exposure to different situations throughout our practices, in particular the joint practices, but in general on training camp.
Chris Barnes came in the middle of training camp and seemed to make a couple of plays last week. What have you seen from him, and what do you look for, like, as you guys close out the preseason with a guy like that?
Yeah, really good demeanor. You know, he's a guy who's called this defense before. They're very similar to what he's done before, but there are nuances. So those are kind of things that we're still working through. But I think just being able to stand in front of the huddle, communicate it well, and then just running and hitting, playing physical type of football, and was very usable on special teams as well. So I'm glad he had the opportunity to come here. I'm glad we had him here to just be able to evaluate him.
We'll do a couple more questions.
Will both kickers get action Thursday if possible?
Yes, they will.
Last one from Jeff.
Yeah, with Nick out, is this a chance for DJ Johnson to step up?
I think DJ's been doing a great job. So he'll be out there playing, hopefully, if we can get this hip turned around quickly. But it's opportunities for all the guys. You know, it's Carlos, Boogie Basham, you know, Thomas Incoom, another opportunity there, J.J. Weaver. Certainly these are guys that, you know, want to have those reps, want to be able to put things on film and show us what they can do, but also show the other 31 teams that they can contribute. All right, thank you.